everybody. Welcome back to I'm Having a Party. What are you bringing? My name is Chef Dorian Hunter, and today we have some amazing MasterChef alumni. I'll talk about her in a minute, but as you guys know, it is starting to get warm outside. That means that barbecues are happening, graduation parties are happening, babies are being born, so showers are happening. And what better way to up your side game than to have my very first cookbook, Not Your Average Southern Side Chick. You can go to chefdorian.com to get your copy today. Come on. This is the best book to have. It's all sides, along with a story about my beginnings all the way up until MasterChef. I've even left some pages blank so that you yourself, the reader, and the amazing chef you are, can finish the book. So make sure you go to chefdorian.com and pick up your copy today. Now let's get started with this amazing chef that I have coming on today. She is an alumni of MasterChef season 14. It is an absolute pleasure. I had the pleasure of talking to her before today, and she is she's everything. Right? She is very professional. She's beautiful. She's a cat mom. She's an amazing chef. So we are going to talk to Chef Kamay today and talk about her start, about the show a little bit and her experience on the show and what she has coming up. One of the things that I absolutely loved about talking to her is that she was very down to earth, and it was almost like talking to somebody that I've known for a lifetime. So this interview is definitely something that I've been looking forward to. I'm super happy that she agreed to come on. So without further ado, this is Chef Kamay coming on. I'm so excited. And of course, we are going to be asking her, what is she bringing to the party? Look, we've been all around the world. This is a new start for us. We are back off of our hiatus, and we got a little bit more traveling to do, a couple more places to go. And she is bringing something that we all gonna need. We need it. We definitely need it. So, Chef, welcome to the party. How are you?
Thank you so much for the amazing introduction. It is my absolute pleasure to be with you here today and honor. We are bringing blood orange margaritas to the party. I think this is one of my favorite drinks to make at home because, look, it's so easy, so simple for everyone at home. However, it adds such a beautiful color to the simple margaritas. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you. So let's get started. Chef, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Kamay.Lafalaise, my first and last name, KAMAY.LAFALAISE.
Okay, perfect. And let's talk about your beginnings. Tell us, how did you get started in this crazy culinary world? What was your beginnings like? And what made you start cooking? Like, what made you want to get into this crazy world of cooking?
Yeah, so I am a lawyer by trade. And so I do cybersecurity, privacy, data security law for the federal government. And it's been crazy times recently in the federal government, but I absolutely love my job. It is a passion of mine, but so is cooking. And for me, cooking came about when I was very young. My family is from Haiti, and it was a way for all of us to connect because my parents had me when they were relatively young, like 20, and they were immigrants from Haiti. And so they really found it important for me to stay in touch with my roots, even though I was born in South Florida. And I found it a way for me to connect with my grandmother, who had such a heavy hand in raising me. And she didn't really speak English, so I learned Haitian Creole, and we connected that way and through cooking. So I have been in the kitchen since I was this tall.
Right. That's absolutely amazing. And I think that for us in general, culturally, food is always like that focal point in our homes, right? Like we all have that. The kitchen is the meeting place, right? And it stretches out abroad.
Absolutely.
I remember at our house, everybody my parents had a very small kitchen, but everybody was in there, right? You found your space, and it didn't. And my mom's kitchen was open to the community. Like you saw all different kinds of cultures in your house. You know, my mom had 10 kids, so we had friends of all different nationalities in there. So I think that that's absolutely amazing to see, even growing up in Haiti, that that's the same. It always amazes me. I always say, if you've been in one Black household, you've been in pretty much all,
Yeah. So
right?
I love that. I love that you share that story. I think knowing that, but seeing you and your season, I think your story resonated with me so much because I know you were paying homage to your mother. And a big part of why I went on the show was to pay homage to my grandmother. And she would always tell me growing up that she would cook for the community in Haiti. Like she was known as that person where if you needed food, she was always going to have it. And she brought everyone together. And I vividly remember in your finale, actually, you had a dish with hands on it. And that connected with me so much because it showed just how much cooking is about love. Cooking is about connecting with the people you're feeding and giving back. And that's why I'm a public servant. Like that was really important for me to give back to people in any way possible. And that's why I love what I do and I love who I can serve.
That's right. That's right. It comes from the heart. It's not
Yeah,
so much
exactly.
of what you're serving. I always say food is good if it comes from the heart. You can tell food when it don't come from the heart, right?
Absolutely.
A
Absolutely.
bad dish, but if somebody presents it to you with love, it makes it a little more palatable. It may not be amazing, but it's still, you know what I mean? You want to eat it. You want to eat it. Okay, so let's get down to the nitty gritty because I know everybody is waiting to hear all of the gritty details about the show. How was your experience? And we talked about this a little bit in our pre-interview. In our pre-interview, we're gonna be
Should we make the drink first?
right. We might need to. You know what? Yes. Let's make the drink first. So Chef is making a blood orange margarita. And
Yes, ma'am.
where I am at, I could not find blood oranges. So I will be making a strawberry margarita. I have my own strawberry puree that I make myself. And so that I won't have to do all the macerating, I'll let the blender do it for me. And I have my own strawberries here. So we're going to be making a little. It looks like a little bit of a different version of,
It's okay.
but that's okay. It's something for everybody. So go ahead, Chef. You go ahead and make yours.
Oh, most margaritas are very similar. We always start out with some limes. You always want some citrus and acid in your margarita. So I have a glass shaker here. I'm gonna start squeezing my limes in, and I'm using 3 limes cut in half in my handy dandy juicer. Let me tell you something about this juicer here. After going on MasterChef, I never had one of these. I used it for the first time in the MasterChef kitchen, and I was like, that makes my life so much easier.
Yeah,
So I bought one as soon as I got back, and now I can't live without it.
nice.
Do you have anything that after you went on MasterChef, you're just like, I have to have this in my kitchen?
Ooh, I already have so much stuff to where I'm not a gadget well, okay, my husband is shaking his head. Yeah, like I'm a gadget person already, but the one thing that I gravitated to when I was on the show are all the different spices because at
Yeah,
that time it was some that I had never used before. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab it. Even if I don't use it, I'm gonna taste it and I'm gonna see
yeah,
if I can do something with it. If you have the opportunity, why not? Why not?
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. And they had such an amazing mix of spices. I definitely miss that.
That was the first time, I'm sorry, that was the first time that I ever ate uni. I just grabbed it. I never cooked with it. I just took it and ate it. Like,
Hey, you have to take risks in the MasterChef kitchen, and it paid off, obviously.
without a doubt.
And another thing I want to say about margaritas, a lot of people use mixes. I think that's great to save time. I think you were talking about cooking with love earlier. Fresh citrus, if you can do it, fresh limes make the whole difference. So that's how I make these with love. If you haven't made it with fresh limes before, I definitely recommend. And so now I'm doing the blood oranges. I'm using 3 blood oranges that I've cut in half. You see that beautiful color already. I'm trying not to get it all over me on my my white shirt. But after you squeeze that in, we're gonna do the liquors. And are you making yours now or are you saving yours for later?
I'm saving mine for later.
Okay.
I'm gonna make mine right after yours. I want them to pay
Oh,
attention to you making yours.
perfect. Perfect. So I'm almost done squeezing, and then we're gonna do tequila and either triple sec or Grand Marnier or Cointreau, any type of orange liqueur that you have on hand. And the last remaining ingredient is a simple syrup. But before we get to that, I like to use this tequila. I don't know, they haven't sponsored this, but this brand is my favorite. If you have a favorite brand, use it, but a Reposado adds so much more interest to your tequila. I think that, some people use mezcal. That's also great. But whatever you have, whatever you like, feel free. I'm doing about 6 ounces of tequila. It's for two, though. It's not just for me.
I was looking at that like, you making is that a tumbler?
It's not just for me. So obviously be responsible. And I like to use about half as much of the orange liqueur. All right, so I'm doing about 3 ounces of that. And I'm just gonna eyeball the simple syrup. I always have simple syrup made on hand. It's very easy for those who don't make it yet. It's just one part sugar, 1 part water. And then you boil it on the stove until the sugar evaporates.
Yep.
And then there you go. And then I'm gonna put in some ice cubes that I have here. And we're gonna shake, shake, shake. I have my glass. And it's almost the same color of these flowers here.
It is. It's so pretty.
And here we are. If you want to salt or sugar your glass, feel free. I'm fine. I want to get straight to it. And cheers, Chef. Enjoy yours.
Nice. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is add some ice to my shaker. And Chef, I love that glass shaker. You got to tell me where you got that from. I would rather.
Thank you. I will send you the link. I can't remember.
That's really pretty. I like that.
Thank you.
I like being able to see what I'm doing, even though I don't know what I'm doing. And I do have lime juice goes in pretty much about the same. I have my strawberry puree. And the one thing that I was thinking, like, man, I should have added some thyme to my strawberries to give it like a little bit of a little hint of, what is that? I love that when people are like,
me too.
What is that? Bought some triple sec at the liquor store. I guess we went to, where we get this from? You can buy it at any grocery store. So it's almost like a combination of simple syrup and triple sec. Actually, I don't know if it has alcohol. I don't think it has alcohol in it, but it works the same. It has an orange flavor and very, very sweet. I'm going in with some Don Julio.
Love Don Julio.
I have no idea of how much, about that much.
That's good, Chef.
You know what I always tell people, Chef? I'm not the drinker, I'm the watcher. I'm the one who's gonna tell the story. Shake it, same as Chef. I like to shake mine until I get almost like a little bit of a foam on it. Just for aesthetics, really. And because I want some of that strawberry, I'm not gonna strain it. The ice out, and it goes right into.
Beautiful.
Perfect. All right. Now let's get into it. We got our drinks.
Yes.
Let's talk about the show. What was your first thoughts? And everybody always asks me this. What was your first thoughts when you seen Gordon for the very first time? What was your
it's a little known fact. I was the very first person to audition, very first out of our whole cohort. So I was extremely nervous. I was shaking like a leaf, and I start cooking, and then all of a sudden Gordon starts levitating toward my station, right? And I'm thinking, take the wheel, Jesus, because I can't think. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but all I know is I have to play it cool. And looking back on that, I think I played it very cool. I was coherent, but my first thoughts were, I know he looks out of this world, and he is, but he's just a person. And if I can connect with him like I do with so many people all the time, I will be fine.
Right.
How was your experience like?
Oh my, look, he came over to my station, and
you were the first person to audition.
And I was in the first group to audition too. And my family and some of my friends were up, at on the balcony. And he came over, and the first thing that came to my mind, and thank God it didn't come out of my mouth, was, man, his head is huge. Like, like,
I'm the first person to say this. I've heard that too. Other people said that.
I
But
just
it's
looked at him and I'm like, oh, like, why is his head so big? Like, it's so big. And I felt myself like getting like really, I never get starstruck. He's not the first celebrity I've ever met. So I never did, but I was just like, and my family, I can hear my family saying, keep it together, Dorian. Keep it together. Keep cooking. Keep cooking. And I snapped out of it. And then that's when I kind of was able to, really talk to him. Because he was standing there looking at me and I'm looking at him like, I don't know
yeah.
what to do with my hands now. I don't know what to do with my hands now. But he is, I mean, I think for everybody, especially for those of us who really take it to heart in meeting people like that. I think that for us, it's just the mere fact that you've seen this person, you've followed their career, and now they're actually standing in front of you. And at that time, there's a possibility that you could be meeting this person every single day. And
Yeah.
it's just overwhelming in a sense. And every time even after that, and like episodes down the road, every time he stood near me, I think he would do it because he knew it made me feel uncomfortable. And they were like, you're not over it yet. And I'm like, I don't think I'll ever get over it.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't,
it's surreal.
yeah, it's so surreal. It's so surreal. So now you're through the audition, right?
Yeah.
You're through the audition, and now it's game on. Um, and I'm asking you this question for a reason. What was your reaction to the first challenge that you had? What was that like for you going into the kitchen and walking through those doors and realizing, okay, I am on a show and, there's a lot to be had if I win. What was your thoughts, if you can remember, what was your
Yeah.
thoughts going through there and standing at your station or even up front?
So I remember this vividly for multiple reasons. The first reason is because I remember feeling so much gratitude because you know how much effort it takes to make it past the first and the second and the third cuts. So the fact that I had an apron on and I was going to be part of the cast, I was overwhelmed with gratitude and I just wanted to do well enough. And so that very first episode, I actually was called the top dish for my group. And I was completely shocked because I was in this mindset of like, I just have to do well enough. And to be one of the best right off the bat was something that was very overwhelming for me. And watching that episode back, I cooked from the heart. I cooked a Haitian meal. And that was one of the few times I actually cooked Haitian food because I know the judges want to see variety in cooking. But I cooked something that was so deeply personal and I didn't want the judges to destroy it. And it carried a lot of more pressure. But great feedback. And I was so shy walking up. I remember the producer telling me afterward, hey, don't look scared when you're getting good feedback.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I can smile? Okay. So after that, I transformed. I was much more relaxed. But that day, I felt a lot of my shoulders and I felt gratitude. And at the end, I was just so happy that I did much better than I could have ever fathomed.
Exactly, exactly. I think a lot of people don't understand that the competition isn't necessarily always in the studio, right?
Yeah.
Competition is actually off camera also. I see you taking a drink. You're like, get a drink. The competition is also off camera. So my question to you is, how did you balance what was happening off camera and what
Mm.
was happening in studio? Because sometimes I know for me, that definitely overlapped a lot. And
Mm.
did you find it hard to, I'm gonna say did you find it hard to tolerate? Because I did. I did. I'm putting myself out there. I did. And
Yeah.
a couple of times I let it be known. And
Mm,
I wasn't I think at that time I would for me personally, it was a lot already before I got there, right?
hmm
And once I got there, and things started to unfold. I'm still in kind of a daze, but what I told myself going on is, look, if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But what I'm not going to do is be any different than I would be if I were at home.
mm,
If I have issues, I'm going to handle them the same way as I would if I were at home because this is who I am. I'm not.
right.
I know on your season, I'm sure you saw people coming on being people that they weren't, right?
Yes.
That they
Yes.
were not. And for me, somebody told me just yesterday, you're a straight shooter. I am. So I didn't want to be something that I wasn't. So if
hmm
I said something, I'm in it. If
Interesting.
something, I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? So how did
Mhm.
you handle that? That may not have been the right way to handle things for me, but how did you handle on and off camera issues?
What a great question. So for me, my biggest fear was because there's so few Black women on TV. My greatest fear was being portrayed as something negative that could harm any other Black women coming after me, truly. And so I was very cognizant of the fact that I will be myself, knowing that I can't take control of everything. Like there's an editing process that I will not have control of. But so I tried to show up and be myself, but I was, like I said in the beginning, like I was still very shy because I was in observant mode. I had to figure out the game because you think you know the game, but you don't know the game until you're there. So in terms of off camera things that were happening, here's who I am and here's who I was. And the contestants I was on the show with can attest to this. I'm a very caring person. I was paying attention to everyone, trying to meet people's needs in a sense of like getting to know people for who they were, asking about them. But some people didn't want anything to do with me. And honestly, that shocked me. Not because, like, who wouldn't want to be my friend? It shocked me because I came to the show with really good intentions because I do believe you can be competitive and a decent person. But some people wouldn't even speak to me in the beginning. And, I'm coming from having lived so many different experiences in my life with so many different types of people, it's easy for me to get along with others. And it's not to say that people disliked me. I'm not aware of anyone who disliked me, but the fact that some people were so standoffish with me, honestly made me very sad.
Yeah. Well,
And I didn't understand it.
they dislike me to the fullest. You had a better you had a good experience. If they didn't just talk to you, that was one thing. But girl, they called me on the phone and told me I want you to lose. Yeah. So I mean, but that's okay. That is okay because
I'm gonna take another drink for you.
if that is who you are, then that's who you are. It's up to me to choose whether or
Yeah,
not I want to deal with you from that point on, right?
yeah, yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
gonna ever ask anybody to change who they are. If that's who you
Mhm.
are, thank you. Thank you for showing me. So now that I know that, I have to judge, whether or not I want you in my space. So when we were on the finale, people reached out to me, I got DMs. They didn't even, they did blah, blah. I said, hey, look, the queen is not always liked. Okay? She is not. And I mean that saying I would have been a queen whether I won or not.
Mhm. Right, right, right.
That was intimidating to them, whether it was my quietness, because a lot of people say she stayed back, she didn't do nothing, we didn't hear about her at night, we didn't know
Mhm.
that. I stayed in my corner, I watched everybody, I had a few people I spoke to, and I always say, if you go into a group and you come out with one friend, you've done an amazing job because
Oh,
you can never go into a group and everybody like you. If they do, something is wrong.
yeah, of course, because then you're not being genuine.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I say that to say you had an amazing experience. Even if you Because when you have dang near a whole cast that is like, correct.
Yeah.
So it's not what they wanted.
So, and what else was interesting about my particular cast was the range of ages. And I'll tell you this, the people I got along with the most were the Gen Xers and the boomers. So it was generations. And so we had Gen Zers, millennials, Gen Xers, and boomers. And the people who had like the older, like let's say more mature,
Yeah.
I got along with them swimmingly. And some people have more growing up to do because I think that the any conflict that I had really just had to do with people who were way too self-focused, let's say. My values are, like I said, in community and just being decent to one another. And when I saw people like will go in a room or come into a room and like they can't even say, hello when I'm like standing right there, those type of things made me feel like invisible. And I had to just let it roll off my back because I recognize that most people are not doing it to be, mean. Most people just don't think about other people. And I know you're making that face. You haven't had a sip of your drink. I'm not gonna judge you on that. But I have to I have to choose to believe most people are not bad. They just maybe weren't raised a certain way, like how I was raised. And I cannot let myself focus on that because I'm here to focus on a game. But as you said, the social game it adds a different layer of stress.
It adds a different layer of stress. To that, the reason why I say that is I'm an energy matcher.
Mm.
So if you walk into a room, like there was an instance.
I love that term.
There was an instance where a confrontation happened, and I told said person, "Don't ever say nothing else to me because I'm never going to speak to you again. I don't care what the circumstances. I'm never going to conversate with you. I'm never going to." And I'm being honest. So
they cross your boundary.
Exactly. If you don't want your feelings hurt, just don't even conversate with me. So they tried to get me in a place on camera where they felt like, well, if she on camera, she gonna speak. No.
You held your ground.
I did because I meant what I said. And if I had gone back on my word, then that would have made me phony. And you'll never be able to call me phony. Or I just think when you are honest and true with yourself, people can respect that.
Yeah.
And it's not my job to make you feel some sort of way, especially when you violated my space in the beginning.
Yeah.
And now
you don't have to be liked, but you should be respected.
So that's me. And that's not always, and I say that because I'm being honest, and I'm not even saying it's a good quality, but I do match energy. I do. And it's worked for me. it's worked for me. But I will say this: when you get to know me, and if you give me the opportunity to really show you who I am, I'm telling you, you've never found a better friend. You've never found a better champion, because I believe in lifting people that are close to me up. I do. I believe in cheering you on and doing my best to make sure that you are your best. I stand on my word. If I tell you something and I don't do it, come check on me, because something,
Absolutely.
you see what I'm saying? So that's
absolutely.
So if you choose to not be, if you choose to let a competition get in the way of you really getting to know me, then so be it.
No, you have to protect yourself and your peace sometimes. And for me, I really want to champion everyone, but not if you're not giving me the same energy. And it's crazy. I'm not gonna keep expending my energy. The crazy thing is, Chef, I remember, off camera being there for so many people. Like people were crying in my shoulders, right? And I was there. I offered a support system to so many people. And then after the show, I see them on certain shows, on podcasts talking about, like they don't even mention me. They're like, oh, I was buddy with this person who like they never spoke to. It's crazy how much effort and care I put into actually getting to know people and letting them be themselves without judgment. And then after the show, different vibes, and not most people, just a few. And I was very taken aback by that and surprised. But I learned a lesson. I should be an energy matcher, and I'm working on it.
Yeah. saying do it all. You can't do that all the time
Yeah,
because
but sometimes.
you have. But sometimes when you feel in a certain kind of way, let your spider senses come up and be like, okay, maybe I can't be, that caring person because this person isn't going to handle that like with care. So
Yes,
I have to
yes,
protect myself, and I'm gonna stand back and watch them for a little bit. And then if your inner person says, okay, it's safe, then by all
yeah,
means be that. But if your
yeah,
inner person is like, no, stand back a little bit longer, listen to that because it's
yeah.
telling you that for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You said something that really stands out. You said, "I let people cry on my shoulder," and for me, I would never let nobody do that because I don't want your I don't want your energy because I have my own issues to deal with.
Yes, I
I
understand.
can't embrace that because it got to be it got to be something crazy, a death or something for you to be crying on my shoulder.
I
I,
understand. I understand, Chef.
I can't do that. But anyway, let's move on. So, we all had our ups and downs on the show. We did. And I feel like somebody told me when I was on another show, just because you don't come out on top doesn't mean that you're not a winner, right? Because sometimes I can tell you that being the winner doesn't mean that you necessarily came out on top,
Yeah,
right? We've
yeah,
seen that. I'm gonna be honest, and we can put it on and take it off. We've seen that play out in my life, right? We've seen certain things happen that didn't necessarily seem fair, but it's because you have the trophy and you got the money that you got to live with it. But that's not how it always. We all know that the residual is what we want. We want that flow, that wave of notoriety and opportunity to flow our way. But it's okay. We good over here. We're good.
no, you're great.
Yes, I'm better than good. You're right. I'm blessed. Most definitely. Most definitely. So my next question for you is what has life been like from before you went on the show to now? How much has it changed for you?
It's so hard for me to even remember my life before this. I don't know if you ever feel that way. It's like life kind of began post MasterChef because it showed me that I can do and I can conquer anything. And the person I am now is just like the most self-actualized version of myself because I've been put through so much stress. You mentioned the highs and the lows of the show. The lows were so low. I remember just feeling like so down some days, but I kept going and it turned out great. But life these days consists of working on recipe testing for my eventual cookbook so I can be like you when I grow up, doing some cooking classes, cooking demos. So I'm doing some cooking teaching, and I'm getting to know people in my own community, and I'm putting myself out there as a part-time private chef and doing certain events. But of course, I have two jobs. I'm not just an attorney. I'm also a professor. So I have many jobs. I wear many hats, chef. So I'm only one person, and I'm tired. But I love the idea of pushing my creativity through food. And so I've been able to, start growing my social media and think of new ways to cook familiar classics and to eventually share my story the way you did in your cookbook.
Right. That's absolutely beautiful. Looking forward to it. Can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. You can come back on here and send me pictures of it so we can promote it. Without
Thank you. I
so
appreciate that.
what is the future like for you? You are a Renaissance woman. You are doing everything, and
Okay.
you are like succeeding at all of those things that you are doing. And it sounds like you're constantly adding hats to your head. So what does the I don't want to say finished product, but what are
Yeah.
your goals going forward? What do you want to settle into?
Thank you for that question, and thank you for all the really kind words. I I hope to be able to continue to share my history and my legacy loudly. I think that is the most important thing for me because the whole reason that I won on MasterChef was to pay tribute to the women who sacrificed so I could be where I am today. You don't just have a Black attorney, a Black female attorney, doing all these things, if not for the people who came before me, right? So in any arena, in any venture that I have the capability to keep sharing my story and inspiring others, that's what I want. Whether that's through publishing cookbooks and writing and novels on TV, I want to be at the forefront of talking about and talking to other women and other young people to know that there's opportunity out there for them, and there's more ways to contribute in life outside of what you think of normally. I went to the legal field, and that's wonderful, but you don't have to do that. There's other paths in life. You don't have to be just one thing.
You can be multiple things. And we, as a culture, especially women of color, have found a way to be everything, right? We are absolutely everything, and anything that we put our minds to and really focus in on, especially if some of us are hyper focused in on things like yourself and like myself, we get it done, right? Like we can actually, and you don't have to settle into one thing. It's okay for you to be multiple things and achieve goals outside of what, let's say, our families wanted us to do or whatever. It's okay. We always tell our daughter, look, we want you to do X, Y, and Z, but that doesn't mean that you can't be a wrestler. Like that was the thing. Like, I want to be a wrestler. It ain't saying you can't be a wrestler. You can still be those things, but we just want you to conquer this right here first, and then let that. Now she wants to be a dancer. So I'm saying, and you can do all of those things. There's no limit to what you can do. So that is a very, very good, a good way to encourage other people, because you're doing it. You're doing
Thank
it.
you.
And
Thank you.
Super, super proud of you. And it's been an amazing pleasure having you on. Tell the people again how they can get to you on social media.
So first of all, the pleasure is all mine. It's been a wonderful conversation. I cannot thank you enough. You can reach me on Instagram and TikTok at Kamay, Kamay .Lafalaise, Lafalaise.
Yes, so y'all be looking out for her cookbook. She said it here, so we're gonna hold her to it. I know restaurants are kicking your tail because we got tired of your side dishes after a while. I'm like, I'm supposed to love them, but we ate so much. I start giving stuff away. So I know that it's not an easy venture. I pray that nothing but good come to you, and I know it will. I know it will. You are already doing amazing things, Chef, and keep up the good work. Keep making us all proud. I'm gonna do my part on my end. You do your part on your end. And if we can get 100 more women to do the same thing, then we can maybe start to see some change, right?
Absolutely.
It always starts with us anyway.
Absolutely. And likewise, I wish you the continued success. Thank you again. This has been really fun.
Thank you. Thank you. We got it together. Always get it together. We got it together. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on, y'all. Hit Chef up on her social media. We have enjoyed talking to her. Y'all, we got some really big guests coming on this next half of the show. So stay tuned for more. I'm having a party. What are you bringing? Chef, cheers again. Strawberry and orange, same colors. All right, Chef, you have a great day. And y'all, until next time, eat, live, love, and be blessed. Bye-bye.
Yes.